Hello, the SCOFT is here again. This is the tutorial number 2. In my first tutorial I have discussed the way to structure your project and to set it up for easy mixing and mastering. And well, what we did in the first one was I showed you how to set up, where is it in the channel rack, to start out with. We started out with naming one kick, and then going to naming one kick in the patterns, and then you make, which means that here it is in the playlist. If you make this one, if you make this one green, this one turns green. Yes, so here it goes. And then in the mixer we did it via rename color here. You can put it from the drop down list, and then add a wave candy, and the wave candy then is here is one kick. That's how far we came in the first tutorial. I've worked a little bit ahead because it's a little bit boring to see me add another 7 instruments in exactly the same way. It doesn't really add a lot to what you to a learning effect or something like that. So this is a good starting point for the second tutorial. And in the second tutorial we will build upon the first one, because what I did in the meantime is we now not only have one instrument, but we have 8. Let's go through it. The first one is the one kick. We have a 1 head and a 2 head, which means I have 2 different heads. I have a clap, I have a 1 bass. So the first 4 are percussion, which is quite important, which will become important in the mixing and mastering. Number 5, channel 5 is 1 bass, 1 lead, 1 pluck, 1 SFX. I just quickly put something together. The SFX is not a sound effects, it's just an instrument. I put all silent 1 in there. It doesn't really matter, just to give you an idea. But what I did is the 1 head is in the channel rack, it's in the pattern blocks, it's in the mixer, it's in the wave candy. 2 head, it's in the mixer, it's in the pattern blocks, it's in the mixer, it's in the wave candy. Clap, it's in the pattern blocks, it's in the mixer, it's in the wave candy, and so on and so forth. Oh, this is something, it's nice that I forgot it, because now I can show you actually how this works. You can very easily right click here on track 5, because it's gray now. You say auto name, and it takes on the name and the color of the pattern that is here. So if you do it here for this one, it adapts the name, and this one, and this one. Okay, so let's give it a play. The nice thing about the setup is about the wave candy peak meters is that you can see immediately what the peaks are in your decibels of your instrument levels. There is a law in making music, is that you want to mix your instruments on a level of -6 decibels. So just looking at all the wave candies peak meters, you can see exactly how hard, how many decibels every instrument is producing. Not that only the decibels from the peak meter are leading, but what I normally do is I listen via my studio speakers, and then I listen via my headphones, and then if I hear something strange, then I start looking at my peak meters, and then sometimes I see, hey, this is why, this is what I'm hearing, because this one is, for example, this one is going up to plus 2 decibels, which means that I have to tweak the sound, tweak the decibels of the one plug. So this enables you to tweak the decibels, tweak the volume levels of your instruments. But even if you can tweak the decibel levels on an instrument level, and if you have good insights in what is happening, this is not always gives you enough control, because the bigger your projects get, the more instruments they contain, and it becomes harder and harder to see the trees through the woods, as we say in Holland. So now I came up with a way to I don't know exactly if this is now mixing or mastering. I think it is. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. What I do is the following. I build in another layer, because what I want actually, if you think about it, what I want to have in my track is that I want my percussion. I want my percussion to be as loud as my instrumentals, or maybe I want my percussion to be a little bit louder as my instrumentals, which means that I want to be able to control percussion as a whole, or I want to be able to control instrumentals as a whole, or to put it in another way, I want to maybe compress or limit the peaks of all my instrumentals. So that means that let's say I have 10 instruments, and one of them is going way over the -6, which means that it fucks up it fucks up everything. I would like to have a point in between the end point, which is the master channel, and the instrument. I want to have a point in between where I can put a limiter in between, and not a limiter, so I don't have to put a limiter on every instrument, but I can put a limiter on one point that is connected to all the instrumentals. So because if you look at it, if you look at the mixer, what you can see is, if you look here at the wires, that all the one kick is connected to the master. One head is connected to the master. Two heads is connected to the master. Clap is connected to the master. Well, everything is connected directly to the master. That is how the tracks are routed at this moment, and that's what we are going to change. But first of all, what we're going to do is we are going to change we're going to change the fruity limiter on the master channel, because we are going to replace it by Maximus. Maximus is by far much better compressor limiter tool from our studio. The one I always use on the master channel is the clear master, which gives me it's a preset that comes in FL Studio. Don't ask me exactly what happens, but it gives you the best clear master in RMS, and I always like this the best. So there's always a tip, and I heard this also by I think Seamless. I heard Seamless say this, which I'm a huge fan of. So check out his tutorials. But Seamless said you should start mixing and mastering as soon as possible by the beginning of your track, because you should start listening to the end result as soon as possible. So what we did now is we put mixing mastering preset to the master. So now what we're going to do is the following. I'm going to an empty channel in the mixer. I'm going to name it percussion. For this I always use black. You can use whatever you want. So percussion, now I'm going to move it to the left. Now I'm going to select all the other percussion channels, and I do it by selecting Control and Shift, clicking none all. Then I go to percussion, I do right click, and then I go to track routing, and I say route selected to this track only. So now what happens is you can see that one kick goes to percussion, one head goes to percussion, two head goes to percussion, and clap goes to percussion, and percussion goes to master. Hey, that's nice, that's nice. Which means that percussion is the point in between that we want to have. So then what we do is in percussion we are going to give it a wave candy and a peak meter. Okay, percussion should be black. Okay, and as we said that we were going to, the guidelines for mixing on instrument level is -6 dB. Then what I have decided for myself is that that I want to mix on the level of -3 dBs on my let's say on my percussion channel, because what happens is if you have 4 instruments that produce -6 dB, when they come together, they produce more than -6 dBs. So you have to make sure that all of them together don't produce too much, because you must always make sure that they don't go over the 0. That's one. And the other thing that you have to take into account, and that is more the mixing part, is that it has to sound good alongside your instrumentals. So what I do, that's what I said that's what I have said in in Maximus. I put a limit. I put a limiter. I put an upper limit on the -3 dBs. So everything that, so 1, 2, 3, these 4 instruments go to percussion, and Maximus make sure that it will not be louder than -3 dBs, and then percussion is being sent to the master. Now we're going to do the same for the instrumentals. Okay, black is the color I like for this. Okay, and I put it here. I put a separator because I like separators. Again, select all the channels, and then we go to track routing. route selected to this track only. Then you can see here in the wiring what happens is the instrumentals will be routed to this track and to the instrumental track, and the instrumental track is being routed to the master track. So the master has only two inputs now. The master has the input, it gets input from percussion and it gets input from instrumentals. And instrumental gets input from one bass, one lead, one plug and one SFX. And percussion gets input from, so actually we are kind of building a pyramid here. So the colored ones are the lowest level, let's say level 1, the black ones is level 2, and the master is level 3. And the colored ones is -6 dBs, the black ones is -3 dBs, and master channel, the preset I used in the Maximus here, that that this is a real mastering preset. It will take the most out of the sound up to the 0 decibels. So this will give you a lot of insight in what's happening in your song, and it gives you also a lot of controls. So Maximus instrumentals, it should get a wave candy, peak meter, instrumentals, instrumental up, yep. And then I put here also a Maximus, I put it in -3 dB. So now we have all set up to do for mixing and mastering. The track is all set up, so let's hit the play button. It is funny to see that, just to show you that it works, is the one plug. It should be adjusted on the instrument level, but we didn't do it. It reaches the 0 dB line, which is much too high because it should be in -6 dB. But my instrumental is not surpassing the -3 dB level, and that's because the Maximus is in there. So by putting in the instrumental channel, you actually build in a safeguard that every mistake or thing that you didn't see, you will always filter it out in your in between channels. So this is the way that I set up a track, and actually I now have a black channel for instrumentals and for percussions. And if I have vocals, what I normally do is I want percussion to be as loud as instrumentals, and that also to be as loud as vocals. So if I have a vocal sample, I make sure that it is on. It also gets the black channel. So this concept, you can use it exactly the way you like. Also what I've said is I use -3 dB in instrumentals and in percussion. If you want to have the percussion louder than the instrumentals, you can just set the percussion to -1.5 dB, and you will get it louder. So you can use it exactly the way you want. So this is actually the end of tutorial number 3 about how to set up a structured FL Studio project, and how also to set it up for mixing and mastering. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.